You're owed multiple stimulus checks, you're owed hazard pay, you're owed FPUC, but how much and when and what dates? And why does this third stimulus package, which is coming around the corner, impact that as well? For the first time today, I'm going to go over the numbers with you and explain to you where you should be focused as the Purple Power Caucus, how much you should be getting, and when you should be getting it. And this is Purple Power. Hey, good evening, everybody. I'm here, you're here, and I'm indoors. I'm on the early mornings LALATE set because of bad weather conditions outside, and I'm actually really liking it. Hope you're good and safe, and thank you for joining me for Purple Power, which is a name that I created and gave to describe the community on this channel. If you've not subscribed, go to the first channel, subscribe, because as part of the Purple Power, you'll understand how you get stimulus, how you push to get your stimulus, and how you push to get more stimulus. And also, like this video. In this video, I will be going over how much you should be demanding for stimulus, how much you should be demanding as part of the caucus, and what you should be thinking about in the days to come about the third stimulus package. Yes, I'm now starting to talk about the third stimulus package. All right, let's get to the breaking news. What is the third stimulus package? Is the breaking news tonight. The third stimulus package is to describe the period of time of another massive wave of COVID-19 cases in which lockdowns are going to hit certain parts of this country, or businesses shut down, or you're unable to operate in the usual way in which you operate, similar to March. The third stimulus package is to compensate you for that period of time. And ultimately, what's important for the Purple Power tonight is to get ready, informed, and educated, and pushing to say, no, you're not going to pay me second stimulus for third stimulus period. What do I mean? Currently, as you're sitting here, we're talking about money that was unpaid to you for the months of April to the present. Well, guess what? Things are going to get worse in the coming months. And guess what? Cheap politicians may try to say, I paid you some money for the month just a few weeks ago, so that should cover you all the way to, 2025. No, excuse me, sir. No, honey, no. No. You're paying me for the second stimulus, and when the third stimulus happens, you got to pay me for that as well. So let me explain these two different periods and where this money is owed to you. And you may be saying, but I still haven't gotten yeah, well, this is why I'm pre-warning you, because ultimately someone's going to try to pay you in a third stimulus period for your second stimulus and say that's enough. And then you're suddenly going to realize, wait a second, I'm missing all these darn checks. How did this happen? It's not going to happen on this channel because we're the Purple Power. The third stimulus period and the second stimulus period. First, let's go over this. The second stimulus period is ostensibly April to the present. It wasn't supposed to be. The first stimulus package was supposed to pay you from March to May. They didn't want to do it, so they let it slide, and they'll say, we'll take care of it later. For purposes of stimulus check, the second stimulus package is April to the present. You got that? Okay. Next, under the second stimulus package, for purposes of FPUC, it's for July to the present. Okay, we got that so far? All right. Now, when we're talking about FPUC, most FPUC programs or proposals under Democrat or Republican expire in December, January. So by their own accord, FPUC number 2 or FPUC second stimulus expires over the winter time. And then what happens in January? Well, then we're ready for the next one, FPUC 3. Let's go to hazard pay. Where does hazard pay span? This is the big catcher. Hazard pay spans all the way from first stimulus to second stimulus, all the way up to the present, because no one paid you first stimulus for hazard pay. Yes. Hazard pay was not on the first stimulus package. They didn't realize they had a need to pay essential workers, or that they had an importance to pay essential workers, until around May. And by that time, everyone had gotten their first stimulus package money. So they said hazard pay will pay people from January, from the first stimulus package, all the way up to the present. So hazard pay is different. It's the first stimulus package, January, all the way up to the present. All right, so we got those three things. If you're part of the Purple Power Caucus or want to be part of the Purple Power Caucus, get on Twitter, get on Facebook, get on Instagram. The hashtags work everywhere. Hashtag for stimulus is hashtag Purple Power Check. All one word. For FPUC, hashtag Purple Power FPUC. For Hazard Pay, hashtag Purple Power Hazard Pay. Very simple. It works on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. Next, let's go to the third stimulus package. And I'm doing this because I want you to know what it is, because ultimately I believe that the Republicans and Democrats are going to try to screw you over, and I'll pay you for third stimulus by giving you second stimulus late during the third stimulus period. You know what that's sort of like? It's like, a husband giving his wife an anniversary gift 7 months later, and then when their next anniversary comes around, it's like, hi, where's my anniversary? I just gave you one. Well, that was for last year. It was 7 months late. Come on now. What are you doing here? That's what I expect them to do, and we're not going to allow that. So let me explain where the third stimulus package kicks in. For stimulus checks, it kicks in basically any day after that stimulus package is approved. But ostensibly, the third stimulus package is supposed to cover the winter. October, November, December, January, February. That's the big stimulus period, the third stimulus package. Because when the COVID-19 cases are ramping out of control, when there's lockdowns across the country, when universities are shut down, when colleges are shut down, when people are told to stay bunkered down, when there's a big concern about ICU overflowing and hospital beds being at full capacity, that's when we're talking about third stimulus. We ain't talking about second stimulus. And that's when you need stimulus checks for all those months. You need FPUC to cover you through those months. And you need hazard pay to cover you through those months. Now, one of the things I don't talk about on a daily basis, and I always feel guilty about not talking about it because it is very important, is the number of weeks of benefits of UI. Oh my God. How many weeks of UI? You don't want your UI weeks to expire in the middle of a pandemic. You don't want your PUA weeks to expire in the middle of a pandemic. You don't want FPEUC to expire in the middle of a pandemic. And it's just not clear where these people are with those things. Hazard pay is also very important. Hazard pay is basically essential workers working during this pandemic going forward. And so that money is owed to you as well. As you see, what I'm doing so far in this video is I'm dealing with the period of time that you deserve to be compensated. It's ironic that of all the people out there, whether it's Republican or Democrat, whether it's a congressman or senator, I don't think anyone's having this conversation with anyone. No one's saying to you how much money you're owed except me. And it's deeply troubling. It's deeply troubling. It's sort of like I'm sitting here saying, did you pull out your invoice sheet? Pull out your invoice sheet and get the pen and flip the page and start taking invoice because these people owe you money. And no one is telling you that these people deserve to compensate you. Now, I always have someone who takes my comments literally. Like someone says, does it say in the Constitution we're owed a stimulus check? No, of course not. Does it say in the Constitution we absolutely can throw them out of Congress if they don't give us FPUC? No, of course not. What I'm saying is that these people in Congress always do stimulus packages during this pandemic. They have done one, which was for you. Then they did one for PPP, which was not for you. Then they did another one for PPP, which was not for you. And now they're coming back to you. After you, if they ever get it finished, then they're going to do something else. And when they do something else, guess what? They're going to give their buddies some big money again. And at that point, you're going to say, wait a second, you're doing another round of PPP for your buddies? You're doing another thing for the airlines, another thing for hospitality? What about us? Third stimulus package. We're in the thick of winter. We've been on lockdown in December, November, and January. Where is our stimulus? Why are you giving the airlines more money for the fourth time in all these progressions? That's what I'm trying to tell you, is that you're not owed something, but that these people will start to hand out stuff to other people as this pandemic continues along. And then you have to say, wait a second, where's mine? Where's mine? I'm looking in the basket. I don't see my name in the basket. I see I'm at the dining room table. I just don't see my name card anywhere here. I see the airline's name card. I see where is mine? And that's what I'm trying to tell you is when these people do these things, which they will, you're owed money because hello, you're an American citizen and you're in lockdown and you're suffering. This is not a government that is supposed to just pay money to big businesses and pay money to big corporations. I mean, this is just incredulous. And here is what's very troubling for millions of Americans, which is the Democrats are supposed to do this. This is not a Republican position. A Democratic position is to give people money. But for some reason, Nancy Pelosi has not been giving people money in these proposals. She's giving businesses and government money. And that's just really so atypical Democratic. And that's why so many people are having problems with the situation. So then now that you understand the periods, then of course come the numbers. The numbers are up to you. I mean, I'm not going to tell you the numbers. I can give you guidance about the numbers and how much, but ultimately the numbers are up to you. FPUC, Steve Mnuchin offered $400 a week. Nancy Pelosi is adamant at $600 a week. He's also not moved at $400 a week. Mitch McConnell has been $300 a week. Problem solvers have been $450 and then $600. Stimulus checks, the numbers have gone anywhere from $500 to $1,200. No person on the record has ever said anything higher than $1,200. But Mark Meadows and the president have talked about numbers higher than $1,200. They just haven't given you the actual number. Hazard pay, the highest we've ever seen is $10,000. The smallest we've ever seen is, private hazard pay of a few $100s. So we have a big spectrum of where these numbers should land. Ultimately, it's your call. You get on social media, you get on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and start tweeting. Tweet if you want to be part of the Purple Power Caucus for stimulus check, Purple Power, hashtag Purple Power check. For FPUC, Purple Power FPUC. For hazard pay, Purple Power hazard pay, and get that discourse going. Then you'll interact with other people. You'll start retweeting, and sort of like when a new album drops and you're looking at the songs, you're like, I love that song. You love that song. I love that song. Suddenly you see people who agree with you or maybe disagree with you, but collectively you come to some agreement on what it should be. And then you make the message very loud and clear. You start retweeting your friend and you start retweeting. And suddenly the message gets very loud until it gets brought to the elected officials. And then you're like, here I am. Congratulations. You got to deal with me now. And it's literally just like that. And you do that for FPUC and hazard pay. Coming up tomorrow morning is Early Mornings LALATE. It's going to be a lot of fun. This morning was, I think, my most watched Early Mornings LA broadcast ever between the two videos. Remember, it's 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and then 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Two broadcasts. There's a little bit of space of time between the two. Hit the alert. The videos are so you get an alert when the new video goes live. Also go to the French channel, subscribe. Subscribe. That way you can also get an alert when the new video goes live. And hit that alert. There's a bell on the front channel so you get an alert when the video goes live. Meantime, like the video. So much and so little time. I had a lot of comments and questions I wanted to go over, but we're running late because of the crash on the McConnell video. So as always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay in that life for more.